Hello, welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome to a short little video about a subject I read about in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. A book that I feel like has been in the limelight for years already, has been a hype for a bunch of years. Maybe even the hype has died down a little bit. I think everybody that wants to read it has kind of read it already, but I'm getting to the party a bit late. I was reading about how to change your habits. There are 4 main components to change or to kind of interact with if you want to change your habits, if you want to introduce new habits or get rid of old habits. They are cue, craving, response, and reward. Those are all 4 steps of habit formation that you can kind of interact with, that you can kind of try to impact when trying to do something with habits. One of them, as I just said, is the cue part. And the way of changing that part of the habit cycle is to make it obvious. You need to be very aware of the cues that prompt your brain to automatically jump to good habits. To increase the chance of fostering good habits, you need to make sure that that awareness is installed properly. Most of the time though, our brain is very much unconsciously devouring all the cues in our environment and going into habits based on that. Think for example about a small little message popping up on your phone screen, and without realizing what has happened, you are immediately scrolling through your phone. It's so automatic. It feels natural. It feels a bit too natural. Think about leaving the house and not really being sure whether you locked your door or not, because the cue, the really visual stimulus of turning your key in that keyhole, is kind of a habit, and it has become so obvious that you are not really aware of it anymore. To fight tendencies like this, we can look to the subway personnel in Tokyo, in Japan. What they do is what is called the point and call out method. They have a bunch of safety checks they have to routinely or habitually, whatever you want to call it, check before the train or the metro can leave the station. And to make the cues more obvious, to make sure that they are really consciously thinking about the things that would normally become a habit and would therefore be lost in automaticity, if that's a word, they point out what they are doing and they call it out. For example, door 4, check, light 3, check, safety signal 7, check, things like that. They point at it and they tell themselves out loud what they are checking. That makes it way more obvious. That makes the cue way easier to be aware of. And you need to be aware of them. The cues can be as obvious as they want to be. If you are not aware of them, nothing will still happen. An easy way to become more aware of your habit behavior, according to James Clear, author of the book, is what we call the habit scorecard. It's basically a procedure that makes you very much more aware of all the behavior you do throughout the day. The first step is then writing down all the behavior you habitually do throughout the day. For example, point 1, wake up. Point 2, get out of bed. Point 3, get dressed. Point 4, go to the bathroom. Point 5, brush my teeth. Point 6, wash my face. Point 7, get a morning coffee. Point 7.1, invade Turkey. You then add a little plus sign, a little minus sign, or a little equals sign to, or is equals sign to, next to all of those behaviors. And which sign you add is determined by the long-term effects of those behaviors. Smoking, for example, is gonna get a minus sign. In the short term, it might provide you a little bit of relief from stress, but in the long term, it's bad. Going out for a run, exercising in the morning or in any type of the day, they'll get a plus sign. Might feel a bit shit at the moment sometimes, especially if it's raining, but in the long term, immeasurable health benefits both for your mental and physical health. Clear plus sign right there. If you're doubtful about whether an action should get a plus sign or a minus sign, think about whether that action brings you closer to the person you want to be. Is it a vote in the direction of the person that you want to become? Oh, I have to clear this up as well, by the way. An is equal sign means that the habit is neutral. For example, getting dressed, it's just something that society tells you to do. Running around naked is not really accepted yet, sadly. And then you have your habit scorecard. And you do not change it. You do not look at it with the intention of, I need to change my life, I need to change my routines, I need to think about things differently. All it is observing it. Look at it without evaluating it, without thinking about it in a positive or negative way. Just really consciously be full of awareness, look at that list and go through it again. This exercise is all about just consciousness, about making the unconscious conscious because otherwise the unconscious will rule our lives and we will determine it to be fate. A little bit of Carl Jung in there. Not that I am such a smarty pants that I know what Carl Jung has said, but it's just a quote that James Clear used in his book as well. For me, for example, this simple exercise of the habit scorecard cleared up that watching those 2 YouTube videos in bed every morning, in the long term, maybe not really as beneficial for me as I thought it would be. It's a habit. It's something that seems small and like a fun little wake-up ritual, but in the end it costs me a lot of time, and it's not necessarily the most valuable spending of my time. I could also have a wake-up ritual in terms of going for a small little walk, what Andrew Huberman calls forward motion. I could also have a waking up ritual in terms of just looking outside of the window, mindfully sipping a cup of coffee after I've been awake for 90 minutes already. I could also have a wake-up ritual reading an article or reading a couple of pages in a book while waking up. There's a lot more stuff to do, more stuff that will be more beneficial to me in the long term. But that is only something I realized after, first of all, just consciously, full of awareness, without evaluation, without judgment towards myself or my habits, looking at the habit scorecard I just made. First of all, first step, I'm aware of that bad habit. No need to change it just yet. That's maybe a next step. Thank you very much for watching. Hope this helps you in some way, shape or form. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.